Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on October 3rd, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for education purposes only, and trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so let's start off as usual by taking a look at our calendar here. Today we had PMI numbers for British pound that came in negative, and we saw British pound drop there. ISM manufacturing PMI numbers, they came in better than expected. This is positive for the US. So PMI numbers are leading indicators. We have a lot of PMI numbers coming out this week. So that's good. And then coming up, we have RBA rate statement. So Reserve Bank of Australia has been very neutral on their sort of interest rate policy. So if they continue with that, this is likely to be negative for Australian dollars. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, but post that, if they don't raise the rates, this is likely to be, well, actually, if they don't raise the rates and if their commentary is not that positive, this will likely be negative for Australia. But if they don't raise their rates but the commentary is positive, then that can be positive for Australia, because they're not expected to raise rates, but it's all about the commentary, what their outlook is. That's what we are trying to, that's what will move the market. So going into Tuesday here, Tuesday we have construction PMI numbers for British pound, but other than that, not a lot of data in terms of the New York session. We have FOMC member Powell speaking, GDP price index, but not a lot of data in the New York session. So that's it. So let's move on to our charts here. So here's our Euro US dollar daily chart. We have had a nice bearish close for the day. So we are looking at a further bearish move here. So now we are, just to keep in mind, we are coming into the support level. So price had bounced here several times. It hasn't been here since this bounce in August. So right now we're looking at further weakness in Euro US dollar here. And the target here would be 1.1680. So based on the daily close here, we are bearish on Euro US dollar. So looking at our 1 hour chart here, excuse me, let me just add, where's the pivot? Okay, so let's take a look here. So here we are in 1 hour chart. So we are coming into support here. So I would keep that in mind. So we are bearish, and I'm looking for further weakness. So 1.1680 or into this S2, which is 1.1674. So that's our target level. But prior to that, we could push into this pivot point level here, which is 1.1750-ish level, or into the 60 level, and then see a drop here. But overall, we're looking at further bearishness into in the Euro US dollar. So that will be our target. And it could come down further right into the tip of this pin, which is 1.1660-ish level. So we'll leave that there. So bearish on euro. British pound has had quite a drop today. So we talked about this, we touched on this over the weekend. We have had, or since last week, we have seen more of the Brexit talk sort of come into play. So keep that in mind as we see more and more Brexit negotiations. Those generally haven't been positive for British pound. And as a result of that, we could see weakness in British pound just because of the Brexit negotiations. And on top of that, if we start seeing negative numbers come in, that will of course add to that. So based on the daily close here, that's a big engulfing candle. So we are bearish on it. Now it could pull back into this pin level. So we have to be careful with this level, 1.3320 level here. So this is looking bearish. So if we go on to our 1 hour chart here, we'll take a look. So here's our pivot point at this support and resistance level, which is at 1.3300, slightly higher than that, but it could pull all the way back into this previous support and resistance level, which is at 1.3350. So those would be the two levels I would keep in mind for pullback. The first one would be 3300 for the pivot, and then second one will be this 1.3350 level, which is also close to our R1 level. So basically overall, I'm looking for a further move to the downside. The target here, first target would be right into here, the top here, which is 132.20. But then we're looking at 1.3150 as the second target. So outlook is bearish on this. Here's our Aussie. So Aussie right now today had a very, very neutral day, which is, which makes sense going into the RBA rate statement. Generally, when there's central bankers talking, market tends to kind of take a breather. Before that, everybody kind of waits for the statement out of the bank. So right now, this is where we are. We are into support here, but based on the daily close here, this is neutral. So we need to see which way the market will break. So these are the two levels where the price has traded in the last 3 days here. So we are into support. So at this point, so if the commentary out of RBA is negative, which is what we have seen over the last little while, that will be negative for this one here. And in that case, we can see a drop. But prior to that, we could see price go up into 78.50 as it's waiting and then drop. So the first target to the downside will be 77.90, so about 7,800. Once the price holds below 7,800, then we are looking for price to drop into this 77.50 level. So that will be the second target to the downside. But if for some reason there is a surprise, so let's say if they talk about potentially raising rates, we could see a break above, and in that case the target would be the 79.20-ish level. Then we would be looking for one of these moves. But right now, US dollar has been strong. So if the commentary is neutral or kind of dovish for RBA, this will have a negative impact. So I'm basically looking for a break of the 7,800 level. And if it breaks through, then we are looking for 77.50 or even into this level here, 77.20 level to the downside. So I'm looking for basically a break of this level here, 7,800, and then drop. Only thing that can change that will be the RBA statement. So we do need to be careful with that. New Zealand dollar here, this is bearish. So we're looking for a further move to the downside. Our candle has closed in the red here. So I like this for bearish. 71.50 will be the target to the downside here. And in terms of pullback, looks like it's already kind of gone into pivot point. It could go back into the pivot point. So basically, we're looking for, as long as it stays below the pivot point, I'm looking for a further drop into this 71.50 level, and then further into this support and resistance level here, which is 7,100. So 7,150 will be the first target. 7,100 will be the second target to the downside for New Zealand US dollar. Dollar CAD here has been strong ever since basically Bank of Canada came and said that they are not going to keep on raising rates mechanically. They essentially said they're going to wait for data, see how data comes out, and they're concerned that too many rate hikes could cause a problem for the Canadian economy. So as a result of that, we saw price drop. So now we are looking for, as a result of that, we saw price go up. And now we're looking for a further move to the upside in this. So 1.2600 will be our target to the upside. This is where we are. So we are kind of pushing into the high, so we could see a drop into the pivot point before a continuation move higher. So we are, but overall though, I'm looking for a break of the high, and then we may see one of these moves higher. So essentially, the outlook is bullish for dollar CAD here. Euro pound. Euro pound, we had talked about how euro pound was in a bit of a range here. Prices bounced off now, so we're looking for a move to the upside. So today we had a very neutral close for the day. And the reason this is neutral is because we have a large pin on the upside. Even though candle closed green, we still have a large pin to the upside. So that is, that's the, well, that's why it's neutral instead of being bullish. So we are into this resistance level. See how price has reacted at this level several times. So a good thing to look for would be a retest of this level again. And if the price holds below, then we're looking for price to continue back into the range. So 88.70, so test of 88.70 would be good to look for. So this is where we are. Let's throw a quick pivot point in here. So here we are. So R1 is where we're looking for a retest. So if price goes up and tests that R1 level once again, like this, like that would be a really good one, because we could get a double top type of formation, and we could get a drop. So overall, right now we are into the top of the range here and into previous resistance level where price has reacted multiple times. So chances are quite high that it will react again. But if it doesn't react, then we could see a break to the upside. But if price, as long as price stays below this 0.8870 level, then we're looking for price to move back towards the middle of the range or into the lower side of the range here. Pound Swiss franc. Big pin in the bottom, which basically shows rejection here. So as a result of that, so here, this is where we are. So right now, as long as the price stays below this 129.80 level, it still has a bearish bias, but this this makes it sort of neutral, because we have small candle body, which is red, but then we have big rejection in the bottom, which is bullish. So between the two, that kind of negates it and makes it neutral. So in this case, if it stays below 129.80, then we're looking for a further drop. As long as it stays below that, if it goes to the other side, then we could see price kind of do one of these and head back into this previous support and resistance level at 130.100. But as long as it stays below this level, we're looking for a similar move to euro pound there, where we're looking for price to stay below this level, 129.80. So the bias in this is neutral, but I would be looking for a retest of 129.80. If it stays below, then we have an opportunity to take it back into, maybe even test the lows here. Euro Swiss franc. Euro Swiss franc, very, very neutral close for the day. Same thing applies here. As long as price stays below this level, a 1.1480-ish level, we're looking for a drop. So if the price goes and tests this level again, sort of like this, then I'm looking for that type of a move. So the best opportunity would be at this level. So waiting for 1.1480-ish level or the 70 level. And as long as price stays below, then we can take it to the downside. The target here will be the bottom of the pin here as well. 1.1380 will be the target, but the better opportunity would be at 1.1480 level, this the top here, rather than taking a trade in the middle. Or when it comes to the bottom, if we see that the price does not break the bottom, then it could go back into towards the middle of the ranges as well. So we're looking for a range bound move, so not looking for a trade in the middle, just at the two ends. Dollar Swiss franc. Dollar has been positive, so we are pushing into this level here, 97.65. Now with this one, we do have this upward triangle here. So price is pushing up. We are into resistance. We haven't broken this resistance in quite some time. So we're bullish on this one. However, if the resistance does not break, then we could see one of these moves and then a retest of this and a drop. Well, maybe not such a big drop in one day, but excuse me, that can happen. So 97.65 or even 70 level would be very important to keep in mind. But overall, this one is bullish. And normally what happens with a triangle pattern is that price will do one of these. It will coil and then break up higher, pull back, and then go further up. So that's usually how the ascending triangles work. So in that case, the target to the upside will be into this level. 98.20 is where we'll be targeting, or it could be even higher. But let's keep it at 98.20 because that will be the first target here to the upside. But we do need to see a break of this. So the best trade will be if the price breaks through, pulls back, and holds on the other side of this 97.65, then we're looking for a long into 98.20 level. So that's the potential trade there. Pound yen here, pound yen is looking bearish, very big strong close on the day. So we're looking for a further move to the downside into 148.33 level. So this one could pull back here as well. So pullback level on this is 150.15 or 20 level, and then looking for a drop into 148.33-ish level. So let's say 50. So that will be the target to the downside, but overall this looks bearish. Euro yen looks bearish as well. So we have a nice bearish close here, railroad tracks, which would suggest that price wants to move lower. The target here would be 131.50. So this is bearish as well. Aussie yen. Aussie yen very, very neutral, which is to be expected since we are waiting on RBA to make interest rate announcement. So this one probably not the best one to trade. If you wanted to trade yen crosses, pound or euro yen, maybe better choices for that. This one here, we have a very neutral close on dollar yen as well. US dollar has been strong and yen has been strong as well. So very, very neutral close for the day. So here in this case, again, the trade would likely be at the test of this one here. If it holds below 113.20, then we're likely looking for a drop back into this 112.50 support area. But if it breaks above, then we could see price go up into the next level. So let's mark levels on both sides because we need to see if the price will break out of this range first. So those are the levels that we're looking at. To the upside, we're looking at 113.80, but we need to see a break here. And to the downside here, we're looking at 112.26. So basically, if the price stays below this 113.20 level, then we're looking at 112.20 levels. We're then looking for price to drop from there. So at this point, because it's neutral, we are open to trading on both sides. Euro Aussie here, we have had price trade in this range for quite a few days. As you can see now, bearish close for the day. So we're looking for price to drop further. Now, this could change based on RBA statements. So if they are not so bullish, their commentary is not positive, then Australian dollar could drop, which means the Euro Aussie could go back up. But based on just purely on the technicals, on the candle close here, we're looking for a drop here. So the target would be 1.4900 here. So that's what we're looking for in terms of Euro Aussie. So that's all I have. Any questions or anything to add? Okay, so that looks like a no. So we will call it a wrap for now. And I will see you guys tomorrow then.